Jim.
What time is it?
It's time for DJ Red Alert. DJ Red Alert. Who's singing it?
I'm the magnificent with the sensational style, and I could go on and on for like a mile a minute, cause I... This is a mission, not a small time thing.
Yeah, this is a mission, not a small time thing. You ain't from where I'm from, you don't talk my...
Welcome to the Spotlight, Red Alert. It's such an honor to sit with you.
Respect.
I love that respect thing. You're considered a founding father of hip hop. How does that feel for you?
Feel honored to be called one of the founding fathers because it's like saying you become a bricklayer. You know, you contribute to build a foundation of what it become.
Right.
Now, where it gets to the branches, you don't know which direction they go, but you have to start from the beginning, and I'm glad I became part of that.
So you were like the foundation of hip hop. You consider yourself foundation.
Yes.
You're from Harlem,
Mm-hmm.
but you were all over the city. I mean, you went to high school in the Bronx. Tell us a little bit about growing up as a youngster.
Well, originally as a child, I come into the States from Antigua, West Indies, and staying in Harlem, raised by my grandparents, you know, and they originally from Antigua. And growing up in a household, you know, a Caribbean household, you know, now when you get at a certain age and now you're attending school and meeting people on the outside, you're seeing a different flair, a whole different outlook. And then as you get older, you know, I was being teased a lot because, you know, skinny, big red, no afros at the time.
I was about to ask you, did you have an afro?
I had an afro, but now I have red hair, freckles, being teased, you know, fighting all the time, but, you know,
People
I earn
picked
respect.
on you.
You know, being picked on, you know. But I always learned to be tough because my older brother taught me how to be tough. And being amongst everybody in the project I grew up at. I grew up in Colonial Projects, which is now known as Ralph J. Wrangler houses, right behind the Pole Grounds in the upper part of Manhattan. And where I was going to school after public school is right next to the world famous Rucker Park. Up on 155th Street. So that Rucker Park was my playground for recess as a kid.
Right.
You know? And of course from there you had the Polo Grounds that was once upon a time known as a stadium, where you had the New York Mets before they moved to San Francisco become the San Francisco. I mean, the New York Giants that became the San Francisco Giants. Then the Mets came there, and when the Mets moved from there and went to Queens, and then they broke it down and built up the Polo Ground houses. So I was never allowed to go down in the avenue because it was a little rough down there. But staying in the project, you know, growing up as a child, interacting with kids, doing that social activities that you don't hear no more, you know.
Kids playing outside,
you know, you're playing what they call punch ball, you're playing skellies, you're playing, of course the girls had hopscotch and everything, you're playing skellies, you're playing hot peas and butter, Benghalia, you know, I'm just naming a couple of things.
Right.
Until when I got older, I'm going now to from intermediate school to high school. Now I'm leaving from there, I'm going up to the Bronx. And I'm starting to learn the different culture. Now in the beginning, growing up, first it was like urban, strictly urban. Then you start seeing some Latinos coming within the neighborhood. But now when you're going up in the Bronx, you coming across a multicultural. You get all different nationalities. And not only that, the high school I went to, DeWitt Clinton High School, was an all-boy high school at that time.
Wow. What was that like?
Huh?
What was that like, going to school with all boys?
Oh, man. It was like, you better be on your A game. I'm going to tell you why I had to be on your A game, because I was going to school at the time of the gang era. So can you imagine being in an all-boy high school? There was like a dozen different gangs.
Wow.
But they did not bother you if they see that you was a type that was not being too much involved with it. There was like gangs against gangs. See, a lot of people was thinking that gangs was bothering regular people. No, it was gangs going after gangs because that was the rivalry.
Gotcha.
Regular people, they don't bother them. You know?
As long as you ain't attracting too much attention and you're not like...
Especially you was into sports, and that's what I was known for, playing basketball at the time. So that was my life growing up during the time.
So do you think that if it wasn't DJing, you would have still been playing basketball?
I think so because I was on the basketball team with Derek Clinton, and then I got a scholarship, went to Hampton.
Okay.
But how I caught the bug, even before I went to Hampton, I caught the bug because I was sneaking downtown to the discos.
Okay.
At an early age, putting on my older brother clothes, trying to, and they allowed me in. And I'm just amazed watching all the DJs in the downtown scene on a Thursday and Friday. But uptown on a Saturday, I was checking out the sounds of Kool.
Okay.
So, you know, I graduated late because I was supposed to graduate on time. I graduated late, but what got me by with the scholarship because I was on the team. So I came out in 19. I did a year and a half at Hampton, but I took up engineering communication.
Okay.
And from there, that's when I got my third class license.
Wow.
And at the same time, before I was in high school, I used to take up music.
Okay.
And what I was good at, I learned how to read music. So now watching DJs, seeing how they work, nobody taught me. I really taught myself by watching.
By watching the
And
other
seeing
DJs.
how they measure the bars are segueing from one to another, from one song to another, to let it blend in. I learned, I practiced that. And when I got to, you know, being on the radio down there, because they had a radio station down there in Hampton, and also so I come back up. Now here go the next wave after Hurt. You have Flash, you have Kool DJ AJ, rest in peace, Disco King Mario, rest in peace, you have Bambaataa, you have a slew of everybody else. My cousin, he the one that I taught the basics down in the neighborhood. When him and the rest of my family moved up to the Bronx, that's when my aunt bought his set, his first set. And he made friends with a person that was one of the MCs for Disco King Mario. So he said, yo, I want to put him on. When he put him on, that's where everybody was hearing my cousin. But now, he was a rival to Africa Bambaataa. When Bambaataa said, yo, who's this little guy that's now down with Mario? He said, yo, that's the guy that moved in the project. He said, well, what he's doing over there? If he moving, he need to be with us. So he went after him. After he went after him, that's when my cousin said, you gotta get my cousin. My cousin.
He was talking about you.
Yeah, my cousin, he go by the name of the original DJ Jazzy J.
Okay.
So he went after me, and now we both under BAM. And not only that, but there was a host of other DJs. So you had Grand Mixer DXT, you had Africa Islam, Rest in Peace Wiz Kid. I mean, it was a bunch of DJs, well, MCs. He had an army MCs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of you were under BAM.
All was under Bambaataa, you know, the Almighty Universal Zulu Nation.
The Zulu Nation.
A lot of people didn't even know at one point in time, but it was a Soul Sonic Force. Even though they made a great song that everybody know, that only consists of 3 people. In the beginning, the Soul Sonic Force was 10 MCs.
Wow. You know, sorry to cut you off. Did you ever consider being an artist? Did you ever try to rap?
No, I never thought
Never?
about it. Nah.
Usually, you know, try it.
I can't sing, I can't rap for nothing.
No.
I can talk some nonsense, but I can't do neither one.
Man, so your love for DJing came at what age? 19, 20?
Well, when I was in this program, during the time preparing myself going to college, there was a program called the Upward Bound Program.
Okay.
That's the program where during your junior and senior year, during the summertime, you stayed on a college campus preparing yourself for college. The program was in like 4 or 5 different colleges. It was Fordham University, Columbia, LIU, Queens, and Stony Brook. I was the one in Fordham, since I'm up in the Bronx at Clinton.
Right.
So my roommate and I, we had our own stereo system together, and we connect them. Everybody used to come and hang in our room until they said, y'all need to do a party. So we learned how to have the way we had it set up in the room, bring it out in the cafeteria part. And we didn't have no professional equipment, but we learned how to click from one thing to another because, you know, you had like what they call the electrophonic stereo with the all 4 speakers, but then you had the phono input and you had the auxiliary.
I remember that.
So what you did, when you know one record's dying out, you click on the auxiliary And the record come on, and you do that was our DJ.
And you made it
But
work.
that what inspired me to learn more.
Man,
Mhm.
talk about the struggle, right? Talk about trying to get there. You got there.
I guess when you have
You have to
that
figure it out.
desire, you have that
That drive.
drive, you don't want to stop.
You make
you
it
know.
work.
Yeah, and you can't let nobody sidetrack you. You can't let nobody discourage you.
Right.
You just go for what you feel.
How supportive was your family when they learned that you wanted a DJ? Was
My
it
brother,
okay?
my brother saw I was always in his record collection. Cause he the one that inspired me between two things: basketball
Mhm.
and music collection. My brother was one of the first members under Mr. Homebell Rucker. And after the passing of Mr. Rucker, my brother along with many others, they continued the legacy of the Rucker tournament.
Okay.
So I was always behind him into basketball.
Mhm.
But if not, I was always into his record collection. He had a mass record collection of all different genres. R&B, Motown, soul, funk, Caribbean
Mhm.
from the background, and Latin.
Right.
So I was being open-minded to listen to that. And I think that within years later on, being under Bambaataa, and I know how he was open-minded with music. It was a reminder where I come from,
Right.
listening to my brother collection. So he took it to another level for me, how to be more open-minded
Mhm.
to everything.
Hmm.
And that's why I think it was helpful for me.
And he supported you, your brother, your family.
Yeah, my brother supported me, and I remember when I first started DJing, I'll never forget this. I used to be in the house practicing, and my father would say, "Cut that nonsense, dude." And my mother used to say, "He in the house."
He's
Otherwise,
in
she
the
looking
house.
out. She looking out for me. I'm not in the street. I'm in the house.
You're in the house.
So
That's
he
what
used to
moms
be-
are for.
So he grumbling. During the time his passing, then I start to excel to become who I am. I was
Mhm.
receiving awards and plaques, and I said to Mom, I said, I wish she was here to see it. She said, "Don't worry, he looking at it now."
You're looking at it now.
So that's the support I have from the family.
That's beautiful.
Uh-huh.
Let's talk about Red Alert Productions. How did that happen?
Red Alert Productions. I'm gonna tell you how I caught the bug at that. In the beginning, I had my nephew Mike G, his schoolmate Africa, and my cousin Sammy. They formed as the Jungle Brothers.
Okay.
So when they did their first recording called Jimbrowski,
Mhm.
under the behalf of my man Tony D, that put a studio in his house out there in Coney Island section of Brooklyn. That's when we was taking it to a label, and I see that I had to start to represent them.
Okay.
So as I went to represent them, my representative at the time, quote unquote lawyer, he was always saying, you need to establish yourself. So I went to get my stuff registered and formed Red Alert Production
Mhm.
in production and management. And I think that's what encouraged me, because not only that I was handling my cousins and them, but being a member of Boogie Down Production at the same time. And then here they also, Mike and Africa was in the same school, Mary Bertram, as members of Tribe Called Quest,
Oh.
members of X-Clan, and I saw the drive, how they was being inspired, because that's the next wave
Right.
that was coming, later on in the late 80s. Because, in the very beginning you had Flash and, Soul Sonic and Treacherous 3, and I'm just saying that first wave. Then the next wave here, you
Right.
got Run DMC, LL, Fat Boys, Houdini. The next wave after that, here come Eric B. Rakim, Boogie Down Production, Salt and Pepper, Heavy D Recipe.
Rakim.
So now here come the next era, and that's where you see it coming to like the Public Enemy. The continuation of Boogie Down Production, who start to excel more, become more as a pop factor was Jazzy Jeff Fresh Prince. But now you come to Fader, here come De La Soul.
Right.
Here come Jungle Brothers.
Black Sheep.
Here come other people similar to like Public Enemy, like here come X-Clan. So you had the conscience, and you had like a different style form of hip hop that nobody never heard, but it was catchy, because when you heard De La Soul, it sounded way different from what they was doing, but you really open-minded to it. And when Jungle Brothers came out with their first song, Jimbrowski, it was a clever song, you know, what they talked about.
Right.
But it was a
Other
clever
guys.
song. But their vibe was similar with De La, and they got to meet each other for the first time out there in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
And that's Here Come Q-Tip. Q-Tip was an introduction on Jungle Brothers. First was known as the promo that was from a radio show that turned into a song. The introduction. So it kept on connecting. And that's what had me being around to establish certain groups that start being under me.
Because you did put a lot of people on.
If I heard it and I believe it, I'm with it.
How was that experience like, managing these artists, working with these artists, making sure that they're getting to the studios and doing the shows? How was that for you?
It was major babysitting.
Major babysitting.
I'm young, inexperienced, learning. I mean, I already got down pat as a DJ, but now I'm stepping into another field.
Right.
I'm stepping into it as from management. You know, just because you're in the game, that don't mean you know everything.
That's true.
So I'm stepping into the field of management, and it's a learning factor that I gotta learn how to be on top of everything as far as the paperwork, the business aspect, working along with the labels, working along with other associations, making sure they on time,
Right.
they on schedule.
Different
you know.
personalities.
Oh my God, that's why I say babysitting.
Were there any like fights in between? Were you ever had to put out any fires?
Never nothing physical.
Okay.
Respect on that.
Okay.
You know. They always look at me as why they gave me that title, uncle. They look at me as uncle status at the time as an elder. So
They
never was
respected
fit.
you.
We may be having verbally we words,
Right.
but it never got into no physical respect.
Man. Do you ever wish you could just go back sometimes and just kind of relive some certain moments?
I'd like to go back and refine certain things that I was stumbling across at that time, but it was still part of the learning factor.
Right.
But you have to bump your head to learn. Now, if I wanted to rewind back, I'd learn how to do it better than the first time because I made a mistake the first time.
Right.
The next time, I know how to do it better.
Not gonna bump my head anymore.
Yeah, and I had enough knots on my head.
Right,
so,
right. So when did BDP get in the picture? How did they come involved?
BDP, rest in peace, my man Scott LaRock. Scott LaRock and I was very good friends. He was known for playing in different clubs up in Harlem and parts of the Bronx. And that's me and him became friends right in the beginning setting where I got on radio. And he formed a group with Koolest One, and they got signed to Sleeping Bag. And the record got handed to Mr. Magic, who was my rival at a different radio station. When they played it, the record was not sound good. Mr. Magic is like E.F. Hutton. Whatever he speak, everybody listen. He dissed that record so bad.
So he played the record and then he dissed it, or he
Played the record and he dissed it.
Eesh.
He dissed it so bad that the label dropped the group.
Oh man.
And this is the same time that went on. Here Come the Rise, start off of the Juice Crew. Now, it was always a young lady by the name of Dimples D, who was Marley's first MC.
Okay.
But here come the rise, MC Shan, because I think he did a song before the bridge called Beat Biter, and then he did the bridge. So when he did the bridge, at that time, Koolest One and Scott LaRock, they just found another label and formed themselves at Boogie Down Production. They heard the bridge, but their part was going after that because you was involved with Mr. Magic that just dissed them and got them cut off a label.
Right.
So that's the attack part right there. And they did South Bronx. So when we was in Latin Quarters, Celebrity Tuesdays, a guy named Raul, respect to Raul, he's a person that used to always DJ in there. Here Comes Scott came with this thing called acid tape. Acid tape is a hard plate like a record. They brought it in, gave it to him, played South Bronx. People going crazy. After he finished, he handed it to Scott. Scott handed it to me. He said, "This is for you for the radio." So, you might as well say, I don't want to instigate the beef. Now,
It was you.
It was me. Now, even though that Marley is and Magic is my rival, they on one station, I'm on the other. But Marley was producing a lot of records.
Okay.
And if they hit, gotta play them.
Right.
So one thing got nothing to do with it. I'm not gonna play. I play,
You're
you
a
know?
DJ.
right. But I was always playing the bridge. So when I got South Bronx, for the first time. When it came to the chorus line or to the bridge, I snapped South Bronx, South Bronx. And that caused the stir.
You were just a little biased.
Huh?
You were a little biased to the Bronx.
Nah, not being biased. Is that, well, put it this way. Magic was always going after me anyway from the beginning because, my cousin Jazzy was on before me for a couple months, and he used to talk stuff about Jazzy. So now here it is, I come on, he's talking stuff about me. That was Magic. He was known, that mouth of his was something.
That mouth. Well, let me go back a little bit. What did you think about the song, the first song that KRS was the one that Magic did? What did you think about?
It was not that good.
It was not that good. Okay.
But it's not, I was always the type of person, if a record don't sound good, I just don't play it.
Okay.
But I'm not going to put on a song and clown you on the airwaves.
Right.
That's not me.
Right.
My job is to entertain you for to enjoy it. But Magic, he had his own little
agenda
flair about how he want to come across, just like he's going to spend time dissing me.
Mm-hmm.
I never get when he was dissing me and I came to the radio station the following week. That Saturday I come the following week and I'll come to the program director. I like, yo man, this guy Magic dissed me on the air, and then the program director laughing at me and I'm mad at him. Now
you taking it personal.
Yeah, I take it personal with the street mentality. He say, sit down, sister. Say, let me tell you something. Same time he's dissing you, he advertising you.
Right.
Because if he keep on talking so much about you on his show, people is going to be encouraged to see who this person he's talking about. So it took a while for me to let that sink in, but that's what happened. So now, my way of paying him back, when I put on South Bronx.
The South Bronx.
Your affiliation with MC Shan, the Juice Crew with Mr. Magic and Marley Marl.
So you instigated the Bridge War.
Yes.
That's what they called it, right?
Yes, so in return, Shan came out with a record called Kill That Noise, and Chris came with the record called The Bridge Is Over.
The Bridge Is Over. And he pretty much shut it down.
He
pretty much shut it down.
Kind of, sort of. I'm going to tell you why not. 88, when we was on the Dope Jam tour, that's when I had Sammy filling in for me. I learned that Craig G made a record called Duck Alert.
Okay.
That was a record after me. There was another MC that got affiliated with them called MC Poet. Poet was dissing KRS-One hard. Now, while we on tour, that when the second album came out, and on that album, you had My Philosophy, Jimmy, and I'm Still Number One. When we came back and we was hearing all the fiasco, I went ahead and I set it up easily. Everybody thought I was crazy. When I got on the show, what I did, I played Duck Alert. I played the dub side of My Prerogative by Bobby Brown. If anybody remember, there's a dub side that started, why you want to talk about me?
Oh,
tell me.
It was like an instrument, not
why.
instrumental, acapella type of.
It's acapella. Why you want to talk? So I'm playing Duck Alert and I'm calling, why you want to talk about me? Right? So then after that, then here's a promo come on. And when the promo come on that Chris made just for this particular time, he was talking about every individual. And he said, I'm still number one. And that's when it was the remix of I'm Still Number One came out. From the regular version to the remix version. And that would shut everything down.
That shut it all down.
But mind you, never physical.
Right.
Never escalated that to within. Later on, you have KRS-One, MC Shan, Mr. Magic, and I all together doing a Sprite commercial.
Showing that you guys can work together, and you guys kept the beef stayed on the wax. There was no.
That's what
there was never any altercations.
Nah.
As much as they talked about each other.
Nah, you kept it professional on the mic. Everybody had their crew and everything, but it never got into no physical thing. Nah.
So from what I understood, MC Shan did try to clear it up and say that he never intended to say that that hip hop started in Queensbridge, but the way it started in Queensbridge was the way he spoke about it on the record.
Yeah,
but KRS took it as...
But he elaborated on it because that was his way of going after all of them for what happened to them getting dropped on the label. So he probably knew that he meant It started in Queensbridge, but hip hop did not start. He just elaborated on that
Gotcha.
as a spill.
Man, so much history. I mean, from playing in the clubs to working with all these different artists. What are some of your greatest moments? What are some of the things that you take with you forever? Memories, performing, being on stage, touring.
Well, you know, my biggest thing is having my display into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. That's my biggest thing, because you in a museum of the greats in the radio section with a lot of legends in radio like Wolfman Jack, Frankie Crocker, Alan Freed, Hal Jackson, Jack Gibson, known as Jack the Rapper, all of them. And they got my display next to theirs. To me, that's a big accomplishment.
It's a huge accomplishment. What are some things that you miss from your era? I want to say your era because you coming up, learning, bumping your head, like you said. What are the things that you miss?
I think the continuation of creating. Because, once again, when you see how things were created from how we DJ to whipping later on, you start seeing the competition. You start learning about all these DJs coming from all different places. And you got to learn about the Cash Money. You got to learn about the Jazzy Jeff. You got to learn about my man Aladdin that's from out there on the West Coast. And later on, the Q-Berts of the world. And then even when I was a host, first I was a judge, but later on a host of this thing called the DMC, Disco Mix Competition. And I was able to go overseas to host a competition of DJs from all around the world.
Wow.
And it opened my eyes, seeing that what you had started, how it created what it became.
It all kind of came full circle for you.
Yes.
How did radio, you spoke about radio a minute ago, how did radio start for you? Was that ever in the cards for you? Did you ever think about radio?
Well, I had a knack for it because I took up communication engineering and got a third-class license. Here it is, we at the Roxy. So, on the behalf of Bambaataa, it's Jazzy J, Africa Islam, Grand Mix of DST, rest in peace, Wizkid and I. Barry Mayo, who the program director at the time, he stepped to Bambaataa and said, we want to incorporate what y'all doing on rehab, because it was called the Kiss Master Mixes.
Okay.
We want to incorporate your style, what y'all doing, into that. So they went after Africa Islam. He missed a couple appointments. But then from there, he said, okay, go after Jazzy. Jazzy did my cousin Jazzy for a couple months. But then after that, it's like he let it go. So they went, well, who's the next person? And that's when it came to me. And I got the taste of that, and I never looked back.
You made a lot of money in the beginning, huh?
I didn't make no money.
Money. You were just kind of learning, going along with it?
Well, it's a thing called paying your dues.
Paying your dues.
Earning your way. So when I was on the first 3 months on radio, I wasn't earning a dime, but I was getting exposure to get hired to do parties, doing studio work. Because now you on a major airway where people hearing you, acknowledging you, now they reaching and calling you to hire you to do a gig.
Absolutely.
So that's where it went.
So you won. I mean, in the end, you weren't getting paid in the beginning, but in the end,
it's all about that want, that desire, that drive.
What do you think about DJs today?
I respect DJs that continue the craft and the art and the culture of DJing. I don't get upset of the people of today that they go according to see what's in front of them because they did not live my era. They did not live my time. What I would like for them to do, just like you go to school to do your studies, whatever studies you have to go, you can do studies in that. Why don't you learn to go into studies whatever you get involved with? Music, sports, industrial, whatever it is. Do research on that, then you can do a research on DJing. And you may have a form of respect of what you're being a part of, seeing where it came from to what it is. Now, your mindset is only based upon two things, the glitz, the glamour, the positioning, and the money, then I can only respect you for so much because that's all you're in for. You know, for us, we learned to make something out of nothing. That's what hip hop was, making something out of nothing. We learned to create. We did not invent, we reinvent.
Reinvented.
That's what we did.
How have you lasted so long? What do you think your secret is? What do you think it is about DJ Red Alert?
I think it's just pure integrity. Learning to stay open-minded and adjust to whatever is taking place in front of you from time period to time period. Now, that don't mean I have to accept every single thing that came across me during the period of time, but learn to adjust to certain standards, certain type of music, certain type of artists, and the lifestyle it is.
And being humble. I have to say that about you. Just sitting here with you, you're very humble.
I was right under my grandparents. You know, if anybody that come from a Caribbean background, you know, they stern. So you know, they don't take no mess.
Right, man. I asked you before 5 top DJs. You did name a few. Who were some DJs that you looked up to?
I look up to definitely look up to Africa Bambaataa because he put me on, and he make me learn to be open-minded to the next level, to be creative, to adjust yourself at all different sounds and genres of music. Flash, who I really appreciate him because he the one that show everybody how you can use a turntable as an instrument. And he learned how to orchestrate it so well. My man Jazzy Jeff, to a lot of people who don't understand how bad that boy is. That boy bad. And Kid Capri, he learned how to command a whole party, being a one-man show.
Yeah, he definitely commands that attention. Knows how to rock a crowd. But so do you.
Well, I take time. I may learn from watching other people aside me and learn to create, but it doesn't hurt to keep on watching others to form something you may pick up from them.
Right.
You know, you don't have to do exactly what you see,
Right.
but put a spill in your own. Just like saying in sports. In basketball, a lot of people may say, I study Dr. J, I study Michael Jordan, I study people later on and such. But you ain't do exactly what they did, but you picked up whatever they had and formed it in your own, and molded it in your own form. That's what I did.
What would you tell a younger version of yourself, a younger Red Alert? What would you say if you could have a conversation?
Don't bump your head like you did the first time. No,
Watch out, there's a bump right there. Don't hit your head.
Yeah. Learn to be open-minded and be focused. And if you go a step further as a profession, keep in mind that the love for what you're doing is one thing, but now it's established as a business. Put it this way, once you receive $1, you establish yourself as a businessman.
Right.
You know, you're making an earning, which start becoming, you know, a job, a self-contained job. So start learning the business aspect and master your craft.
And when it's all said and done, what's the legacy of Kool DJ Red Alert?
I want people to always remember me for what I did as far as entertaining them, making them feel welcome, making them feel good. Learn that you can ride along with me for whatever I present to you.
You always, you know, I've noticed a lot of people in the industry, especially in the music industry, they have their hand out for help. I feel like with you, just speaking to you, you've had your hand out to help. Why is that?
Because that's the way I was brought up. I was brought up that way. And then it come to a point where you have to stop doing it because you start learning how people abuse it.
Right.
So you have to be selective. In the beginning, willing, but then as you get deeper, you see what's going on, you have to be selective who to put it out to. Because you have to earn that respect to get it.
Man. Well, that's it. That's it. I mean, thank you so much for, again, taking the time to sit with us and just sharing your story and your life with us. What can we expect for you? I mean, 2017, what are you working on right now?
I still do the radio. BLS. Still moving all around. My youngest son, one of my sons, he's also recorded. You know, there's a little thing that my youngest son, my oldest son, we form a little alliance called the Kool Connection.
Okay.
I have a reason of doing that. The oldest one at one time used to be the little voice on the radio. Everybody used to hear. So when they run into the younger one, oh man, I remember you used to be on the radio. He said, no, that's my brother. But what had happened that everybody have their own identity. I said, let's form Kool Connection where they know who I am, but now they can acknowledge who you are and who you are. But we are together as one.
Connection.
And I think it's real good to show that how my relation is with my sons to the public. Which they already saw how I am with my younger one because they used to hear him on the radio.
Right.
But now it's like I'm bringing the capture
The
all of us
connection,
together.
and we can get to see them. You know what? You just saying that, I can kind of see the Kool family reality show. You ever thought about that?
Nah, because we're not into that reality show thing.
No.
That's something we try to stay away from. You know, to each his own that want to do that, but we don't touch on that.
Okay.
No, we learn about being reality of the truth, not for what you see on screen.
I appreciate that. Respect.
Respect.
Yeah. Thank you so much. It's such an honor to sit with you and talk to you and just kind of get into your brain a little bit. Thank you so much, DJ Red Alert.